What's up everyone, Big Dan here, and in this video, we're going to explore my top 10 tips and things I wish I knew before playing Oblivion Remastered. So without further ado, let's buckle up, grab some iced coffee, and dive into the video. Number 1, build a custom class. During the tutorial, after the Emperor gets ganked by a bunch of Mythic Dawn goons, Boris will ask you about your fighting style, which brings up the class selection screen. There are a bunch of pre-made class builds to choose from, but I recommend creating a custom class over one of these pre-mades. Building a custom class allows you to choose your specific major and minor skills, so you can create a unique playstyle that caters to your preferences. Plus, you can name the class as well, which is an option you don't want to miss. Number 2, overhauls to the leveling system. The leveling system from OG Oblivion has been completely overhauled, so for players familiar with the original system, here are some notable changes. Both major and minor skills will provide some experience towards leveling now, which was not the case in OG Oblivion. Also, you can now manually allocate experience points to your preferred attributes when leveling up, which removes the need for autistic min-maxing of skill leveling to get those juicy +5 bonuses. Now, whenever you level up, you will have 12 points you can invest in any area of your choosing, although it requires 4 points to raise your luck by 1 level. Whenever you reach a new level, simply rest at an inn or another owned bed to spend your skill points and raise your stats. Number 3, where to get some amazing early game gear. Most gear drops in Oblivion are randomized and scaled to your character's current level. However, there are some specific unique items that you can get right at the start of the game that will make your character incredibly overpowered. How about a glass helmet that lets you see in the dark and breathe underwater? Fast travel to Anvil and head to this small island west of the city. Once you reach the island, head west and dive underwater around this spot right here. You will see a skeleton floating on the waterbed, which has the Gleam helmet right next to it. Loot the helmet and equip it to breathe underwater. I recommend making a quick save before making the dive, as your character can drown very quickly if it takes too long to swipe the helmet. Destruction mages can get a really cool ring to boost your magical damage. Head to this location just west of the Imperial City, and you'll discover a sunken ruins with a statue sticking out of the water. Dive underwater near this pillar, and you can find the Ring of Destruction floating on the lake bed. Sometimes the ring does roll downhill, at least it did in OG Oblivion, so you may have to scour the lake bed if it's not sitting right here. But hey, you just got a water-breathing helmet, so you should be totally fine, right? Next up, we have an overpowered armor set and sword for warriors. We need to head to Vindicel Shrine, which is a stone's throw away from the Imperial City waterfront. Head inside and proceed through the fort, being careful to avoid traps along the way. At the bottom of the shrine, you'll see an NPC named Umbra. We need to kill her and loot her sword. The simplest way to do this is to hide up on a pillar out of her reach, reduce the game to the lowest difficulty, and pelt her with arrows or melee attacks until she croaks. It took me over 80 arrows to kill her, but once she drops, loot all her gear, which is a full set of unique ebony plate armor and one of the most powerful swords in the game. Number 4, how to get a free room. Looting all the top shelf gear will likely have you damn near over encumbered, so now we need a good place to store all our ill-gotten gains. Well, luckily, we could get a permanent free room at the Ayleswell Inn by completing the side quest Zero Visibility. Head to the town of Ayleswell at this location just north of the Imperial City and speak to any of the invisible NPCs to start the quest. Then head to the nearby fort on your quest marker and speak to the reclusive mage, who will give you a scroll to remove the invisibility spell from the townsfolk. At this point, simply return to town, equip the scroll and cast it, then speak to the innkeeper to complete the quest and ask about the free bed. Head upstairs and now you have a permanent storage dresser and bed in this inn. This is a great place to store your gear early on, before you buy one of the nicer houses in the game. You can also get a free home in Anvil by completing the side quest, Where Spirits Have Lease, but that quest is a bit longer than this one, so if you're just looking for a quick place to stash loot, I recommend getting the room at the Ayleswell Inn for now. Number 5, Oblivion's quirky persuasion minigame. Oblivion has one of the most unique and bizarre persuasion mechanics I've seen in an RPG. In order to convince NPCs to reveal more information to you, you need to raise your reputation with them by engaging in this Persuasion minigame. There are 4 options to choose in each encounter: admire, joke, coerce, and boast. Each NPC will typically like 2 of those responses and despise the other 2. You can tell which options they like by observing their facial expressions while hovering over the option. The amount of affinity you will gain or lose is represented by the bars in the wheel. 1 bar is a small change, while 3 or 4 bars represents a significant change. Your goal is to match the bigger reputation changes with responses the NPC likes, while trying to position the smaller decreases with ones they don't like. Each time you select a response, the entire wheel rotates clockwise, so it's not always super straightforward when to play your cards right, and you have to exhaust each of the 4 options every time you activate the game. Is this making sense so far? Also, have you ever imagined what the Persuasion minigame actually looks like in a real conversation? Just schizoing between cracking jokes, boasting, and threatening the other person in the dialogue?
So a Khajiit and an Argonian walk into a bar. That's so funny. Listen, I'll beat your ass if you don't give me this information. I'll not be intimidated by the likes of you. That's a mighty nice armor set you got there. Oh my, thank you. I am the greatest adventurer in the land. That's just rot. Goodbye. Be seeing you.
So yeah, that's the Oblivion Persuasion minigame in a nutshell. It's kinda goofy at first, but you'll get the hang of it once you've done it a few times. Number 6, tips for lockpicking. Oblivion also has a finicky lockpicking system, and if you're looking to cheese the minigame a little bit, here's what I've typically done in past playthroughs. Make a quick save before attempting a particularly hard lock, then open the lock and mash auto attempt, which is R on PC. In most cases, you will eventually open the lock and completely bypass the minigame. If you happen to run out of lockpicks, simply reload the save and try again. Once you reach level 10, you should go complete Nocturnal's Danger Quest, which can be started at the Shrine of Nocturnal, northeast along the road from Leawind at this map location. Completing this quest will reward you with the Skeleton Key, which is an unbreakable lockpick. Number 7, Shady Sam. If you ever run out of lockpicks, a good place to buy them is from Shady Sam. This black-cloaked vendor hangs out along the walls outside of the Imperial City. Fast travel to these Chestnut Handy stables and follow the wall until you find Shady Sam at this point on the map. Shady Sam sells a variety of lockpicks, potions, and poisons. He also sells skooma, which is basically Elder Scrolls liquid coke. Number 8, spellmaking is overpowered. One of the coolest things about Oblivion is that you can create your own custom spells, and as long as you have the mana to cast them, you can craft some of the most ridiculously overpowered spells known to man. In order to do this, you'll need to join the Mages Guild and progress through the storyline until you gain access to the Arcane University in the Imperial City. At this point, you'll be able to use the Spellmaking Altar to start crafting your own unique spells. Number 9, how to get permanent followers. Unlike Skyrim, Oblivion does not have any companion characters who will follow you throughout your journey. However, there are some temporary followers you can get during certain quests. And if you postpone completing said quest, then those temporary followers will remain with you indefinitely. One example of this is the Germain brothers, who you will help during the quest Separated at Birth and Legacy Lost. To start this quest, head to Coral and inquire about rumors with different NPCs until they point you to Reynold Germain. Germain is a drunk who happens to have a twin brother in Cheydinhal. Once you reunite the brothers, the sober bro Gilbert will ask you to help them reclaim their family home, which has been overrun with ogres. After clearing out the ogres and reporting back to Gilbert, the brothers will temporarily join your party while you escort them back home. But if you never take them back to Weatherly, the Germain bros will continue to follow you and help you out in combat. Number 10, how to get a unicorn mount. Finding the unicorn was one of my favorite memories from playing Oblivion back in 2006, so I had to include it on the list. Northwest of Breville, you'll find Harcane Grove, which is guarded by a pack of minotaurs. I recommend taking out the minotaurs from range because if you rush into the situation, the unicorn may aggro against you as well. After killing all the minotaurs, now you can approach the unicorn and claim it as a mount. So there you have it. 10 tips and things I wish I knew before playing Oblivion Remastered. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more Oblivion and RPG content. Big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my videos. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.